After weeks of converting waste cooking oil to biodiesel and crossing paths with many incredible, innovative people, I finally make it into Cambodia, where the pace of life is a little slower than it was in Thailand. I'm on a green mission, from Singapore to an orphanage in Cambodia. They have no reliable energy supply, but I found a machine that can make a huge difference to their lives. It converts used cooking oil to biofuel, and to prove it can work, I'm going to power my car with biofuel and drive over 2,000 kilometers to Cambodia, converting oil along the way. I won't just be buying dinner, I'm going to be asking for the oil it was cooked in to fill my tank. After my long journey from Singapore through Malaysia and Thailand, the first thing that strikes me here in Cambodia are the roadside stalls, which sell petrol in recycled bottles to motorcyclists. More than 80%, or around 1.5 million, of the vehicles in Cambodia are motorbikes, and many people simply can't afford fuel from regular gas stations. Allegedly, it's been mostly smuggled across the border from Thailand and Vietnam, where fuel is subsidized and prices are lower. There's so much to see in Cambodia before I end my trip at the orphanage in Siem Reap. I'm hoping to learn as much as I can before I get there, so I can help them reduce their energy costs. First up, a slight detour to beautiful Battambang. It's the former capital and home to some of the best preserved French colonial architecture in the country. It's a bit of a tourist town these days, which brings me to why I'm stopping here. How can someone possibly run a successful hotel business in a country where power cuts are so common? According to UN reports, only 1 out of every 5 Cambodians has access to electricity, and the large majority of those that do live in the capital, Phnom Penh. Electricity is also expensive and unreliable. Blackouts happen often, making diesel generators a necessity. In fact, at least 95% of Cambodia's energy supply comes from imported fossil fuel, a tenuous situation for a poor country to be in. My biofuel converter could come in handy here. So I've been told that this is one of the hottest places to stay right now. Au Caribe Vert. It sounds very French. I think it is French. This eco-hotel boasts responsible waste management, locally sourced products, and my particular favorite, a naturally filtered swimming pool. Energy-saving technology has considerably reduced this hotel's reliance on the national grid. Its French owner, Mathieu Damperon, explains the super low-cost air cooling system to me.
This is a concept come from Canada. You can use it to have hot air in your house or cool air. It's up to you.
Hot air or hot hair?
Hot air. This is the secret. It's very small. It's a fan, just a small fan, only 12 watts per hour. It's very easy to use. We will bring the air from the top, go underground, and after arrive in your bungalows.
This sucks the hot air down, pumps it somehow into the bungalow, and it gets 2 to 3 degrees cooler once it's inside.
Exactly.
But I don't hear a pump.
Yeah, we just need a fan, small fan, down here, and one into your room. So come on.
Okay. A typical small fan will use less than 50 watts per hour of energy. An air conditioning unit will use at least 1,000 watts per hour. Mathieu is making a huge saving.
And this is a pipe arrive in your room. You have just another one fan here, and the fresh air arrive from down.
So it doesn't look very glamorous, but you can see how simple technology really reduces the energy consumption of the place. Because last night, I didn't turn on my aircon, and it was very cool. So it's really very effective. And obviously the French like fresh air for their fresh hair. And here's that chemical-free pool, which, like the air cooling system, makes optimal use of natural resources.
We use the plant for the water filtration. It's a natural pool. This concept comes from Germany. This is the first in Cambodia. There's no chemical product inside.
Do you have to have special plants, or is this just a common kind of plant you find locally?
We use the plant from Cambodia. You can build this kind of pool all over the world. You have just to find the plants you can find in the natural ponds around in the nature. And if the water is clear, it means these plants have capacity for filtration. After that, you bring the plant here. You have the heart of the pool is here. Come down.
Oh, wow. Hey,
there's
a
an
little
adventure.
secret door. Down the hatch.
Allez-y. La résistance, hein?
This is really cute.
You have the pump and the filter.
That's it.
Yeah, and with that, we send the water in the bungalows, in my home, in the pool. And the water comes from 2 ponds I have each side of the land. This is the water from the rain. We recycle the water from the rain. We don't use the water from the town because there's too much chemical product inside.
All the hotel's water comes from these natural ponds. The collected water is even used for showering and cooking.
So the water
wow.
we use comes from this pond. Yes, we have 2 lexes. One on the other side and this one.
Are they lotus?
Yes, lotus flower. It means the water is pure.
So it looks a bit green, but they call it sweet water. So I'm going to give it a go and see just how clean it is. The water tastes amazing, like no chemicals, nothing.
Welcome to the green life.
Mature has set up a visit to a local farm for me. I'm told just a short walk through the town is a train that will take me to it. And the train turns out to be more fun than I ever expected. Hey! Hello, stop! This is the legendary bamboo train. These railway tracks were built by the French in the 1920s for steam trains that transported bananas and coffee. Hi, can I get on? Okay. The bamboo trains came about after the Khmer Rouge fell, made out of old tank parts and recycled motors for motorbikes, rice harvesters, and tractors. It's incredible how he's put together this 2-stroke engine, managed to get this belt wrapped up to the wheels. It's a cheap, fuel-efficient way for locals and tourists to get from town to town. And adrenaline rushes come for free. Oh, shit! Hell, what happened? We just hit an anthill on the side, so we nearly went flying onto the actual tracks. My heart's beating a little fast, and I'm looking for the seatbelt, but the driver soon got us up and running. Literally. Let's get going! Train hopping! Woohoo! We're back on track. This is certainly a more efficient way to get to the farm than driving my car. It's just 10 kilometers by train, but would have been 25 kilometers by road. Okay, so it took an hour and a half more, but I'm just thinking of the fuel I saved and the fun I've had. Oh, we're here. Okay. Trang. Thank you very much. It ain't the Orient Express exactly, but if you want a unique way to see the Cambodian countryside, this is it. My 2,500 kilometer road trip to Cambodia on biofuel seems less extraordinary now that I realize the complex energy challenges that most Cambodians face every day. To really understand day-to-day living here in Cambodia, I'm on my way to visit a rice farming community. Rice is the country's main crop, making up almost 85% of the cultivated land. Rural areas are hardest struck. Less than 30% of Cambodia is electrified, one of the lowest rates in Southeast Asia. Hi Pong.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, this is my owner's house, my uncle. This
Hello.
is Stefan.
For the other 70% of the country, electricity can only come from burning expensive diesel. Low-cost, renewable resources undoubtedly have huge potential to make a big difference to the quality of life here.
Many people, they have not enough money. They cannot buy the power.
Right.
So they can use any more power from their bottom up.
Right.
So anytime, but at night time, they have to buy the candle, or they make the lamp from the gas. They put in the can and they make the flame. So yeah, like
So
this.
people around this area are still quite poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay. So we go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
As we head out to the rice fields on the ox-powered cart, I can't help thinking how much imported energy per year could be saved by having a rice husk bioenergy plant in Cambodia. Rice husk can be used for making biogas for electricity generation and bioethanol to supplement or replace petrol. It takes less than 2 kilograms of husk to produce 1 kilowatt per hour of electricity. Around 40 rice mills in Cambodia do already power their facility with their own biogas.
Okay, Joe. This is rice paddy. And now the people just to make the harvest, you know. Most of them they make only one time a year, especially on the rainy time, because you got the water from the sky.
Yeah.
Because we get our rainwater for irrigation rice field. But also right now the government they start to make the small canal, through in the rice field, so the people they can pumping the water to growing and to irrigation on the rice field also.
More rice production.
Yeah, and saying that they can do 2 times a year, in the rainy season and in the dry season.
Look at that.
Hey.
Hard day's work.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Okay.
So by channeling rain from the monsoons through a man-made canal system, the farmers will be able to irrigate their crops in the dry season, almost doubling production. Fantastic! Nature and commerce working hand in hand. And on my way back to the hotel, I spot some of the canal construction that's already underway. It's time for me to pack my bags and leave Battambang, but I need more fuel. Do you have any waste cooking oil? I have no trouble getting used cooking oil at this eco-friendly hotel, and it may well be my last collection before I hand over the converter to the orphanage in Siem Reap in a couple of days.
Oh, you're free.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they made it so easy for me. So that was the easiest it's ever been, getting some waste oil, but I've got it and it's time to make some biodiesel. Into the converter goes my waste cooking oil. I set the unit to heat the oil to 70 degrees. Once it's up to temperature, I add chemicals to refine the oil. And the hardest bit? Well, I have to wait 2 hours for the chemical processes to work their magic. Inside the tank, the catalyst I added is separating the glycerine content, effectively thinning my fuel to make it usable in my engine. Voila, biodiesel. I'm on the last leg of my journey to Siem Reap now, but along the way, I'm going to stop by one of Cambodia's most impressive natural features, Tonle Sap Lake, where the Chonkanese community rely totally on the lake for their food, water, and housing. Much of the community lives in floating houses and have no choice other than to live here. They can't afford land. I seek out the commune chief, who takes me to see some other housing on stilts on the shores of the lake. Hello. Oh, we're going over there, okay? All right. So Pegna was just telling me how in the wet season, this lake is entirely covered. But when we go into the dry season like we are now, they actually use it to plant rice. And you can see how they've built up the rice paddies and created these small little ponds for their own subsistence farming. Very clever. Although they live on the largest lake in Southeast Asia, ironically, the community is short of safe drinking water. What kind of issues did the community here face?
ជួយខាង fire នោះជួយខាងថែរក្សាខាងបរិស្ថាននិងថែរក្សាធនធានធម្មជាតិខាង fire ណាជួយខាងបរិស្ថានរឿងហ្នឹងតែដល់ក្រោយមកយើងបានកែតម្រង់របស់រាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលថាទៅធ្វើបង្កើតជាទឹកស្អាតនេះមកគឺប្រជាពលរដ្ឋយើងមានការអត់សូវមានជំងឺ
So the Chongmese now have access to clean water and fewer people get sick, but the lake itself is still heavily polluted. It is the only place they can put their waste. There's plastic everywhere.
អញ្ចឹងត្រូវតែបង្ខំចិត្តចោលយ៉ាងដោយការបត់ជើងបត់ដៃអញ្ចឹងហើយចាក់ព្រិញសិនចាក់អីហ្នឹងវាអត់មានកន្លែងដាក់ហ្នឹង
When they have tried to put rubbish by the side of the road, it starts to stink because no one comes to collect it. To see the situation for myself, I need to travel across the lake to the floating houses. This lake feeds millions of people. Swells from the Mekong River flood the plains during the monsoon season, providing the breeding ground for Tonle Sap's bountiful supply of fish. More than 3/4 of Cambodia's freshwater fish catch comes from here, and it's estimated to feed not just the lake's locals, but more than 3 million people. We're passing by the floating houses on Tonle Sap Lake. It's quite a spectacle to see. You can see right into the houses, you can see the babies jumping into the water, you can see people cleaning themselves, see the dogs. It's fascinating. Tonle Sap is also home to many ethnic Vietnamese who've emigrated to Cambodia over the last 50 to 100 years. With precious few resources themselves, this is not always to the liking of the native Cambodians. So I'm going to go and visit one of the families here on their floating houses and get an idea of how they live. Hello, can I come in? Yeah, come here. It's quite small in here. This must be the storage room with all their fish nets, and the drying room. And then what's through here? Oh, right, this is, well, this must be the kitchen with all their pans. I don't see any stoves or anything. I wonder what they cook with. And then down here, there's the stove. They use wood. And a bit of a washing area. I don't see any toilets anywhere. I wonder what they do when it comes to that. Oh, I see. These people have no source of sanitary disposal, and their waste, sewage, and engine oil all go into the lake, the water that they drink and fish from and cook in. The owner knows about the water supply station where they can buy clean water, but says it's pretty far away. I decide to pay a visit. So this is where the local people come and buy the fresh or filtered water, as opposed to drinking the river water, which is contaminated. The filtration station was provided by an NGO. This system has no impact on the environment because it's powered by solar energy. So, as I understand it, they suck in the water here, comes in through this chlorine mixer, and that gets rid of all that bacteria in the water. And it comes through here, and some sort of electrolysis is going on, which is powered by a solar panel on the roof. That then cleans up the water even further, which then goes out to the tanks over there, where the water is ready to be collected and drunk. So this is where you pump the clean water for the
clean water
locals.
you can drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautifully clean.
Yeah, very clean.
4 hours of a bit of filtration, a bit of UV. That's what you get, huh? I've decided to buy some water to distribute to the community and help to spread the word at the same time. Hi, here's some fresh water for you. The sad reality is that when one family member is sick, the whole family suffers from loss of income. And without education, any plans for change are just that, only plans. What I found so far is that most families think it's too far to go to the filter station to get the clean water. So I've got one more bottle of water, and I'm gonna go to the family that I visited before and give it to them. Okay. Hello. I don't think anyone's home. Just as we were about to leave, some of the family arrived back home. There we go. There we go. It seems so ironic that here on Asia's largest freshwater lake that we have to deliver clean filtered water. It just shows you how easy it is to ruin our most precious resource. Uncovering ancient ruins. In the final chapter of my journey, my car gets the rubdown it deserves after our 2,500 kilometer journey. Hi, girls. And I complete my mission by delivering the biofuel converter to its new home. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.